Hi, my name's Jack Soul. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about multi-effects pedals. So, multi-effects pedals have been something that I've been really interested in, actually from the very beginning of buying effects pedals. And I have my Zoom multi-stomp in this video, and this is actually one of the first pedals I ever bought. So I'm really excited just to be able to still use this pedal. I really like it still. And I've got a few other really cool options here for multi-effects pedals. And these will work really well if you're looking for something to go on your pedal board to complement the other effects that you already have. Or if you're looking for kind of a one-stop shop as far as effects go for your guitar and just kind of take one pedal to a gig. All of these pedals, you can set up different scenes and presets so that you can use multiple different aspects of the pedal throughout a gig easily. And that was my first criteria for picking the multi-effects pedals that are in this video. So I'm really excited. We're going to just take a look at quality of the effects in the pedals. And we're going to look at kind of what I think the company was shooting for when they created these effects pedals, and a little bit of my opinion on where and how they work the best, what scenarios they work the best. I'm really excited. I think that this is again one of my favorite style of effects pedal because they do so much. They get me so inspired. So thanks again for stopping by. Let's get into it. Alright, let's just talk through the signal chain really quick and then we'll get into it. So I'm going through my Fender Telecaster into the Chroma console, then to the Zoom, then to the HX effects, right out to my Fender Supersonic amp set on clean, and into my interface. Here's what the clean tone sounds like. Just really clean, so we can hear what's going on with these multi-effects pedals. So these two pedals here, the HX effects and the Chroma console, represent something to me, and I can see a really interesting change hopefully coming in the market of multi-effects. That being said, the Zoom multi-stomp is one of my first pedals that I ever bought, and it's on this demo as a control. So essentially we're just going to be kind of flip-flopping between the HFX effects and the Chroma console. And once in a while, we're going to check out what the Zoom has to offer in that category just to see kind of where it shapes up, because the Zoom you can get used under $100 on Reverb or Marketplace, where else these two units are fairly pricey. So let's get into it. This change that I think that I'm going to see and that I hope that I'm going to see is with multi-effects. The Chroma console came out as a unit that wasn't supposed to cover every multi-effect that has ever been made. It was meant to be an inspiration box, and that each one of the effects that it comes with has an attitude to it. It has a texture. It has something to it that the company built in for you that is unique. Now, with the HX effects, and the HX effects is essentially all of the effects from the Helix minus the amp models, and it's really is just a pristine recreation of pretty much any multi-effect that you can think of. And that's not a bad thing, but I'm kind of making this video to show that there's kind of a decision to be made now on the multi-effects market. And I hope that, in my opinion, other companies go towards the Chroma console side, because it bodes well to making a unique contribution to the market. Where else I think the HX effects, again, this unit is invaluable to me because it covers all the bases, but there's other multi effects that do that job out there, like the H90 even the H9, the HX effects, and many more that cover the ground in a recreation sense rather than a creative, unique sense. So, but what we're going to start with actually is overdrive, because I think with these multi-effects pedals, overdrive is one of the deciding factors on which one is good, because again, we're going to look at chorus, reverb, delay, all of those things. But here's the overdrive from the Chroma console. So I've covered this overdrive. I think it's really nice. It's got this overdrive, and again, it's called drive, and it's the only one that you get called drive on the Chroma console. And I think it's a really great overdrive. It's kind of a transparent, maybe blues breaker style overdrive. But again, it's got some unique attitude, and I wouldn't be able to really tell what exactly they were going for. It's just drive, and it's unique from this company. But I pulled up, because I really like it. I think it's got the right things going on for me to be able to use it. I've used this overdrive live, actually, just to see how I would feel about it. And I did like it. It sounds good. It sat well in the mix that I was using it in. And but as a crossover, I'm going to check out the Minotaur overdrive and the HX effects, which is a clone. Again, I think it's really good overdrive, and it will definitely do the job live. So, but let's see if we can get something as groovy and as vibey from the HX effects in the let's do vibrato. So I'm just gonna add a reverb on the HX effects, and we're going to use the vibrato and overdrive from the Chroma console. Great sounding. Here's a vibrato from the HX effects. Interesting again, but I just feel like there's something about what the Chroma console offers in that department that is really unique. But again, here is the cons when it comes to Chroma console, is that I feel like there needed to be some kind of boost elsewhere on the Chroma console for it to cover more ground, because once you've set your overdrive, and this is the overdrive at full gain. Lots of gain, but sometimes you need a little bit more and a little bit more boost, and I can boost this plenty with using the effects volume in the secondary options. But it's hard because they're all set in kind of modules, so you can't mix and match if they're in the same module. But again, it's kind of a give and take on what they were going for. Versus the HX effects, you can do pretty much anything you want. Secondly, like I was saying, it's not every effect under the sun, and one that I like to play around with a lot is a Qtron, which the Chroma console can't really recreate, and here's kind of a Qtron on the HX effects. So, again, something that I'm kind of missing on the Chroma console, which makes me kind of need to turn to a more conventional multi-effect, which you can get, almost everything under the sun. And there are other multi-effects pedals. The GFI multi-effects pedal is similar price to the Chroma console and just can cover pretty much anything. So again, this is why I'm finding it really interesting about the Chroma console. The other thing I'll say is that I use the Chroma console on my normal pedal board, and you can find other videos about that on my channel. But the thing that I find about the Chroma console when it's on my pedal board, which has plenty of other effects to choose from, is I don't find myself turning to it very much. Like this Chroma console has really cool delays in it, but I use my LVX for delays on my regular board. I love the texture effects like the cassette, broken, and interference on the Chroma console, but I have some other effects that I use for that on my larger board. And again, not necessarily better or worse that I'm talking, but I just turn to them because they're more, they're on the board specifically for that. And again, that doesn't stop me from turning to the Chroma console to play around with it. But I find it interesting that I don't turn to it very much, even though I really like the effects and I think that they're interesting and really inspiring. But the Chroma console doesn't really fit on my gigging pedal board as like a fix all to the stuff that I'm missing. It can cover most ground or a lot of ground, but it doesn't fix all, kind of like we were seeing with the Qtron. And here we're just going to talk about some reverb here, which I think, again, the Chroma console has great reverb, but it only has one, so you can't really have two flavors of reverb going at once. But you can have two presets that have, a more subtle reverb and a more intense reverb. So there are kind of workarounds. But here's the reverb. Got some great ambient qualities. I'll turn up the time. So some, again, really great qualities. I love that reverb. And it comes with a unique sound. I have the drift up a little bit, which gives it, that attitude. But here's a couple of reverbs from the HX effects. And here's a bigger reverb, the dynamic plate. Really unique sounding, and again, I think I do prefer the HXFX reverb, but again, not to say that the Chroma console doesn't. It has a really unique take on reverb. Let's just head over to the reverb on the Zoom multi-stomp. Gotta cycle through the delays. HD Hall, I've used this one a lot. And honestly, the reverb and delay and basic modulation on the Zoom are really good. Let's just check out one more, see what it has for modulated reverb, mod reverb. So again, really good sounding for the price, and in a live setting, you know, people will just enjoy both of these reverb sounds and the Chroma console reverb sound. But, you know, kind of looking at things with a fine-tooth comb, the last thing with the vibrato on the Chroma console is by bringing the mix of the whole unit down to half. Essentially, you can create your chorus effect. And I think it's a unique sounding chorus. But I thought it was interesting, actually, that they didn't add a straight up chorus to play around with. I know, again, this is chorus, but it has definitely a vibrato-y sound. Or else, again, the HXFX, I like the 4-voice chorus. in the future, and we can see like these legacy brands that have so much to draw from, like Boss, Line 6, and Eventide, and many more, have so many great effects and algorithms to draw from, which make it a no-brainer to make a unit like this. But companies with a little less legacy and time of these really classic effects, I would love to see more of these unique multi-effects pedals. And it is called a multi-effector. The Chroma console is. So, maybe that's their way of saying it's not a typical multi-effects unit. It has multiple effects, but they're not trying to, take the place, in my opinion, of something like the Line 6 or even the Zoom. But I think they're going after people who are trying to kind of break ground on new sounds and wanting that extra little bit of creativity in their repertoire. And again, I use this a lot more from a studio standpoint when I'm just working on my own songs or YouTube videos and wanting something unique. It's definitely one of the first places that I turn. And check out my other videos on the Chroma console to see more about the inner workings of it. But you can change effects orders really simply on this. But I wanted to make note that you can change effects order on the end effects placement on the HX Stomp really simply by putting your hands on top, finger on top, pressing OK, and then boom, they switched. And this interface is really easy and actually fun to use. There are some, deeper things to get into, and this can do like MIDI controlling and all that kind of stuff. Which are a little bit more complex. It has loops so that you can loop in other effects that aren't MIDI and control them on the HX effects, which is really awesome as well. But at the at the base of it, this effect unit is really easy to use, and I count the Chroma console as one of those easy to use ones as well. But again, what I would say is live, it's not easy to tweak the Chroma console, because again, what I'm used to is if I need a little bit more level on the overdrive, you can bend down for half a second, twirl a knob a bit that you're really used to, and boom, there you go. But with the Chroma console, you got to hit the secondary function and then edit the effect volume here, and then after, I'll note, you adjust that from a live setting, this knob isn't representing where the amount of overdrive is anymore. So if you go to tweak that, you're not really sure where it left off. But again, this is just stuff that I've noticed from playing live with the Chroma console, even using the drive live. But again, this video is kind of just to kind of talk about two different style of multi-effects and what one would work best for you. And I think if you're kind of, which is what I use this for, if you're going to go out to gigs and you just need, most effects, if not all, really at your fingertips, just to cover a wide variety of songs, then you still need something like the multi-effects that HX Effects offers. Zoom, H90, the GFI multi-effect pedal, there's lots of great options out there. But if you're looking for something that has a lot of effects built in and is a unique recreation of those classic effects with the new company's spin on it, that has a lot of momentum behind them for creating unique things, and I think that's where the Chroma console comes in. And I think it would be really cool to see other companies take a stab at a little bit of what the Chroma console is about, and I think it would stir up a lot of excitement, especially with these brands that have a lot of unique attributes to them in the pedal market. Anyways, I know this video is a lot more talking than it was, playing the tones, but that's kind of what it was about, is discussing the difference between these two multi-effect pedals. And if you have some comments and or stuff to add to a conversation like this, please drop it in the comments. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.